Making Harry Potter floating candles is totally easy. You're going to need just these things. And the first thing you're going to need is some of these battery operated little glow lights. And you can see they flicker and glow. You can get these at any craft store or dollar store. And they come in usually about 4 or 5 to a package. I used one of them for another project, so I have 3 here. You're going to need some different sizes paper tubes. Save all your toilet paper rolls, your paper towel rolls. You're going to need some masking tape. You're going to need some white paint, and we may want to change the color of our candle a little bit, so we'll talk about that later as a wash. And you're going to need some fishing line, and I used the most thinnest one that I could find over here, which is a 50 millimeter. And lastly, to make those drips on your candle, you're going to need a hot glue gun and lots of hot glue. Are you ready to do this? Let's go. We'll also need today some styrofoam dishes that have been left over, or some extra cardboard, a punch. I'm using just a piece of floral wire so we can drag the fishing line through after we have it, so we have a needle effect, and some wire cutters for the floral wire here. So let's go. The first part of making the candle is making sure that your paper rolls are nice and firm, and I'm ripping off a piece of masking tape, and I am applying it, putting it in there, and making a little shelf for our candle. Now you can see right there, that's not deep enough, so we have to do it again. What we want to do is we want to get that candle in there more like that. Okay, still, again, not deep enough. Just do it again. You have to create a little shelf for the candle to nest in or sit in. Way better. Okay, now we're cooking. You can see where this is going to go. When you turn, you can take these out, right? And you can turn them on, put it in there. When they are hanging from the ceiling, they're going to flicker and glow. Take them out, replace them at any given time. Okay, so let's now finish off the shelf part, and then we're going to work on the body. Next part I did was I put a piece of masking tape around to keep that shelf very firm in place. Now you can put masking tape over all of this to get rid of the lines if you want. So that's one thing. If you want to just put the white paint on here, I would highly recommend doing some masking tape on here and then doing your glue gun with the drips. Okay, so let me apply some masking tape on here to get rid of some of these lines, and we'll go on to the next step. I applied masking tape over the lines on here to smooth them out. I still have another one over here, but I don't think that's going to show. The next thing we want to do is start to apply our hot glue here to create some drips. So just creating drips, you want to put a lot of hot glue at the top and drag it down to various drip sizes. So let me put this in my hot glue gun, put more on there, heat it up. We want a drip that's about right there, make a nice gloppy area, like it hangs down. Coming back up, your most intense area needs to be up here at the top. Drag it down. Remember that drips are not 100% perfectly straight, so here, look at that. This is going to be great. One right about there. We're going to do this to both candles, and make sure you glop it up at the top over here and just drag it down. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm applying some white, which I have over here. If you're wondering what brand it is, that's a Shield. It's a number 600 white. And once the hot glue dries, you're going to just apply very generously a glorious coat of white. Now, you know, in the Harry Potter series, and I've seen all of them, the candles are like a kind of an off-white color, but for your effect, if you're doing this for a birthday party or something, you want to have them glowing. So in this case, I would just leave them this white color. Or if you really wanted to have a very special coloration, you could add a little bit of yellow to this. But you can see how very, very nicely this comes out. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to paint these up very generously, and then we will let them dry. Let's see what they look like when they're done. Okay, a very important element is, as you can see, making a hole and punching a hole straight through there is very important, because we're going to be running our fishing line through there. And how do you do it? You're going to see where your tape is. You're going to go underneath the tape. Be very careful with an awl. You know, it can hurt you. So there, like that. And that's all you need, is to punch a hole. Be very careful. Okay, make sure the hole is wide. So now, once they are dried, once you have your holes ready, and once we know that the candle can fit in there beautifully, we can now string them up. Today we are using an all-purpose fishing line, and we want the one that is not colored in any way. We want to use a translucent one so we don't see them. And you want to take off at least a meter's worth of fishing line, because you're going to be stringing it through and then taping it up. So let's cut that and let's do it. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a very easy way to thread that through there. So in the beginning I said you're going to need a piece of wire, which I had here, and you're going to take the tip of the string, or the fishing line I should say, and you're just going to tape them together very carefully here. Okay, and just make a needle out of this very easily. Make a point, slide it through, get through one. There's two different ways of threading your fishing line on here. The first one is to go through here like this and then thread it out the other side, or you can just very, very carefully hot glue this on here and then repaint it over with the white, and that is really, really super simple. I've seen other people use the punch method, but actually, in fact, what that punch method does for you here by punching the holes in it is it shows you the balance of your project. So if you don't want to thread the fishing line through here, just hot glue it on there, both sides. Make it easy. There, I just used the hot glue method and it is perfect. That is just so simple. So if you don't want to punch the holes in there and do all the threading and type of stuff like that, it's just grab and go. Very, very simple. Make it easy on yourself. Now we've got 8 more of these to go. Another very important element to making these is to make some bases, and basically you can just use recycled styrofoam plates that you're throwing out. I love recycling everything, and our prop shop is filled with so much of the particular materials that I use to make props. So basically you're just going to create a circle, get out a pair of scissors and cut that out and then hot glue it on. So as you can see, there's stuff everywhere. Now I'm going to show you even an easier method, is just taking some of the masking tape that you used previously and just very, very gently taping up the bottom. That is so easy to do. Cut it to size. Now don't worry about anything that's over here, because that's going to be painted right over. You're never going to see it. Now I got my little army of candles waiting to be put up. Now I'm going to be using today some Scotch tape. However, you must be very careful with what kind of ceiling you have in your house to figure out how you can hang these. I guess if you want to, you can use different types of hanging methods. But in my case, my ceiling is made of plastic. The ceiling that I'm using today to hang our candles is a poly type of ceiling. So basically any type of masking tape or Scotch tape will work very nicely. You must check your ceiling very carefully to make sure you don't damage your ceiling. So however you want to hang them is your choice.
Now that we have all of our candles made, our wires are attached, and our candles are aglow, let's see what they look like set up, shan't we? Electrical illumination made easy. Just imagine the possibilities. Let's look.